Thursday, how y'all doing? Finding joy in life. It's something that is very important to me, is finding joy in life, finding joy in the little things, finding adventures and stuff. I have a long drive home. I got about an hour drive when I come home from work and stuff, and it can kind of suck, traffic, people on the road, all that stuff happens. But the thing about it is that there's always some nice, good things that I have on my drive home adventures. I can see mountains, I can see the desert. I think I've talked about this before, but there's so many cool sights and things that are around us, so much beauty that's around us and stuff. And we may be stuck in traffic, we may be having long commutes and stuff like that, but as long as you're not paying attention. I love those double negatives, don't you? As long as you're paying attention, pay attention to your environment. There's a spot where I drive home where I can look over and I see the mountains and stuff. I can actually see the northeast part of another community, another part of another city that's right next to my own and stuff. Not really next to my own, but it's on the other side of town. But I can actually see way out there and stuff. And I think that's so cool. I see all these mountains. I see these desert landscapings and stuff. I'm into semi-trucks. That's why I got a collection of 1/64 scale semi-trucks. They're a very wonderful collection at my office and stuff. And I get to see there's I don't think it's a junkyard, but there's some old semi-trucks that are in there, and I get to drive past it every day. And there's a cab over that I love cab overs and stuff. So I see this thing almost every day when I'm coming home from work. I see the thing and I just love it. I wish I could own it. I wish I could have my truck and just burp, burp, I wish I could do that. But anyways, it's finding joy in those little things. It's finding joys in the environment. It's finding joys in those moments where a lot of people, trust me, I can tell, a lot of people on my drive home, they don't have any joy. They're very miserable. They're very unhappy, and you can just tell. And I'm always in my car. I'm singing, I'm dancing, I'm bouncing around. I'm just everything. I'm just making everything an adventure, because why not? Man, life can suck. I've been there. There's been plenty of times in my life that my life absolutely sucked. So I'm not up for that anymore. Now I make sure my life is good, no matter what happens. My life ain't perfect. Trust me, I got debt, I got bills, I got problems, I got all that kind of stuff. I got everything that everyone else has and stuff, but I'm not going to let that take joy out of my life anymore. I'm not going to let that take the wins out of myself. I'm not going to. I'm going to enjoy myself, and hey, life happens. So have an awesome Thursday. You're an awesome, amazing human being, and I love you so much. Peace out.